It's Rich coming to you from my roof again. Hope it's not too windy up here today. It's a little bit cooler, a little bit less wind happening, but it all seems to collect up here, so I apologize if you can't make something out, but I will be attaching some notes at the bottom or in the comments, and honestly, feel free to ask me any questions as well upon what I'm talking about. And today I'm going to be talking about Ecom sales funnel, which part may be stopping you from going to sales, which part you can improve on, and how to identify that. So I'm going to be using an example of Facebook ads and the metrics that it tracks, which are things like cost per click, view content, add to cart, add to basket, initiate checkout. So these are the ones you want to be looking at, really maintain focus on. So early on, when you're first testing the products, you want to be looking at your cost per click, click-through rates, CPMs, view contents. These are the main things. It's the cost per click will determine whether or not your ad is engaging and it's relevant to the audience. And this is the same for view content. So there's things that you can change here if you're getting a high cost per click, and the high cost per click is completely determined on what your product is, how much it costs, the audience, how saturated they are, all sorts of determining factors. But if you sort of know your, say 50p is what I tend to look at for like low ticket items, that's a sort of good price per click. Obviously lower is much better, higher is a bit, you need to look at that. But if you're not getting the sort of rate that you're hoping for, you want to test a variety of creatives if you're not already. I recommend 4 or 5, even more than that, in each ad set. And also, like, you can personalize it to do with what it's to do with, right? So by that I mean, if it's a cold audience, you're trying to get something very eye-catching, something very appealing that new people are going to be gravitating towards. If it's a retargeting audience or a bit of a warmer audience that you have, you can go a bit more in about the brand and things like that. Both with value proposition is very important, but determine who your actual audience is, and then how you're really relevant to them and how you can offer them value. So basically, if your CPC isn't the right amount, or if you're not getting that many view content, otherwise people aren't clicking through to go to your site, it could be to do with things such as your call to action. So this needs to be bold, very obvious, very relevant, and my earpiece. That's why I keep doing this, because it sort of comes out. I just keep pushing. My ear's rejecting it. So click through. Sorry, not click through. Call to action, and your copy, your creative, which I went through a little bit, and the relevance to the audience. So video is obviously the best to use at the moment, as you can. It's very engaging. Facebook likes them, but also you can use audiences later on for video views. You can use those for your retargeting and for lookalikes and things like that. Okay, so the next stage is add to cart or add to basket. If you're not getting that many add to cart, add to basket, this could be showing you about your product page, your price, your value proposition within your site, or your brand and your brand trust and how it feels for the customer. So these are all areas you want to look at if you're not getting a lot of add to baskets or the sort of amount you're looking for. And just for my example, I tend to look for at least one add to basket or add to cart around the £5 mark. If I don't have one before the £10 mark, I'm not quite sure. It depends on the product, of course, but that's where I start to sort of think maybe there's something wrong here. So I go back and explore that. The last metric I want to just talk about is initiate checkout. So this, they've got almost to the end. They've almost got it, but the reason they're not, actually going through with it could be many reasons. I'd probably say 50 to 60% of the time it's because they are just at the last minute thinking, oh no, actually I can't spend this money this month, I need to buy or oh, maybe I'll do it later, or I'm at work and I just want to look at it later, sort of thing, which is why you want to have about 5 hours later. But then the other percentage of that, I would say it's your pricing, again, because they may, I don't know, maybe there's like taxes or shipping that's been added on, and they're like, oh, actually, I don't know about that extra $10 or something. So that's something you want to look at. And also, at this stage, it's also your brand trust. So they've come through from your advert, they've come to your checkout page, you come to your product page, they come to the checkout page now. And if for them it all feels congruent, that's fine. But if it feels that there's a bit too much changing, like the color scheme, the text, all sorts of things, if there's a lot of things changing, perhaps that makes them feel a bit uneasy and they sort of will duck out at the last minute. So you want to make sure if you're getting low high add to cart and no, say for example you spent $20 say, and you've got 15 add to cart, no checkout, and no purchases, or actually no, sorry, that's the next bit. You got no initiate checkout, then there's seriously something wrong with your shipping or something there, right? Because you can see it should be, say, 10%. So you should have 10 people going add to cart, one person out of them, roughly, this is just a rough mark, is buying. So that's where you want to be looking at, does my checkout look trustworthy, are there trust badges and all that. So I'm going to go into all of these in detail in a minute. And there's a few little tricks that I'll talk about that you can use in the checkout. I mean, there's quite a lot of people using called Conversion, I think it's Conversion Pirate, their website, they had a thing called Checkout Booster or something similar to that. I can't remember what it's called now, but I used that on one of my Ecom stores, and yeah, I think it worked quite well. But I actually recently tested with taking it off, and it's the same. So I don't know whether that's actually, if it was doing anything or was it something else. But anyway, these are things you want to test. Yeah, so going back, we want to look at every stage of the funnel there. And I want to make this brief because, well, I'm at 6 minutes, actually at 7 minutes now, so that's not too bad. So yeah, right at the beginning of your funnel, you've got the same, you're drawing the attention of the customer, and this is your ad creative. So you want something bold, crisp, unique, has a strong brand image, preferably a video or a carousel or something engaging, or an image if the image is engaging enough. And speaking of engaging, you definitely want an engaging call to action as well. So if it's about something educational, you want to put learn more, or you want to try a different call to actions, obviously, but you want it to be congruent with the whole message of the ad. You want to include a bit of urgency, a bit of necessity. This doesn't have to be overdone. A lot of people do overdo this, but you just want to be doing things such as, if you genuinely do have a sale going on, let's say when the sale's ending, or if you actually have limited stock, or there's all sorts of things you could do, but make sure that you're congruent throughout your whole funnel with what the urgency is. You want to have a value proposition. This is very important. So it'd be good to have, if my sort of outline of my structure, like briefly, is for the ad copy, this is usually something like a bit of a statement, something educational, something teaching a little bit of brand, something a bit more interesting. Then the value proposition, so it's something that the problem the product is solving. Blah, 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 blah. That's where you want to be, showing your value there, and a bit of education. Then have a call to action, then a bit of urgency, and then perhaps another call to action again. So you can do call to action could literally be your button saying shop now or offer, or it can be your link and then a little thing saying like arrow shop now or something like that. The next stage now is going through. They've clicked through, they've gone to your product page. The parts that you want to be focusing on here are things like very nice, clean, crisp, very useful product images that are giving a lot of information, because obviously pictures are better than words, right? So if you can have a few product images of it being used by someone, or someone actually like holding it, smiling or something like that, these are the sort of things you'd like in your pictures. And by unique, I mean, if you're drop shipping, don't just use the manufacturer's one that hundreds of other people are going to be using. Try and make it unique, white it out, or put some different background in, or maybe, I don't know, come up with your own sort of thing. In your product description, you want a nice heading, value proposition again. A lot of social proofing, so you can use things like product reviews, genuine ones. Urgency, scarcity, obviously being consistent with how you were talking about your products earlier and whatever the urgency and scarcity is there. And clear navigation. So here I mean you really want it to be very easy for them to read and find how to add the cart. It sounds really simple, but this is something that a lot of people trip up on, because the add to cart may be like in a weird position or a weird color or something. It's not obvious. It needs to be really obvious. You don't want people to have to put any work in, because people don't. People just want it to be very easy and just given to them. And a way of getting around this actually is to use a sticky add to cart, which is quite good. If you can find a good one, especially on the mobile, it's very good. You just, because you scroll down, you're looking, oh, that's quite cool. And then you've got the little sticky add to cart there on the bottom the whole time, it's following you. Like, buy me. That's always really good. Another little trick is to have subtle upsells and bundles. So this is to increase your lifetime customer value. Do this very subtly, but by that I mean I have tested a lot of different upsells, and I find that they do. It depends on the niche and what your business is about. But I do find it tends to sort of scare people away a little bit if you upsell to them too much, and it's a bit silly to do it before they bought, right? It's better to do it. They've come to your site and you thought, oh, that's cool. The difference is that if you can find things that have very good, it really complements that product, that's okay. But again, you want it to be subtle, and things like frequently bought with things like that, they're really good, because it's like, other people have checked this out with this, why not, you could do that too as well, and that's subtle. It's not like shoving it in their face, like, do you want this or not? That could work, but they're better on funnels, on actual like click funnels and things like that, than they are on things like Shopify with online, in my opinion. Obviously, that's for yourself. And also having a banner at the top of the screen that can follow you is quite good too, I find. I've been experimenting with things like free shipping, or free shipping over this amount, or free shipping worldwide, this and this and this, so that it's like another proposition for them, like, oh cool, that's cool, this is another benefit of me getting this product here today. And then they go to the cart, and again, this is another thing that trips people up. By the way, every time I'm saying people, I mean me, because these are things that I've noticed myself, and I've fixed them, and I've noticed the difference. But I'm sure other people have too. So for the cart, once you've added the cart, most of the time people are on mobile, but I would say I don't actually know if they have pop-out carts for mobile. But anyway, it's not a good idea to have a pop-out cart. It's much better to have it as a squeeze page. So by that I mean, you click on go to cart, or you click on add to cart, and it takes you straight to the cart page or to the checkout straight away. It's much better than having, on the website, a little page that comes up with, your this in the cart. That's not as good. It's much better to actually moving them more subtly towards checking out. To the checkout, you want consistency, as I spoke about earlier. You want brand images, trust badges, ones that are relevant, not just a load of random trust badges that don't mean anything. Things like, oh, we've had 100 million thousand orders this week. It's like, well, if you have, that's great. But if you haven't, don't put things like that, because that just looks like crap. If your site looks like crap and you've got things like that, people don't believe you, So it's just, you're just scaring people away. It's much better that you actually have things like, family-run business, 24/7 customer service, like through Messenger, things that you really do actually do, and that offers them support. And this will increase things like trust with the brand, and and the other part is clear shipping info. So when I was talking about initiate checkout, this may be something as well, because they go to add to cart, they put it in the cart, they go into the checkout, and they go to the part where they filled all the information in and the shipping thing comes up. If the shipping says, just for example, 24 to 30 days, that might be scaring people off. So one thing you could experiment with is putting 3 to 4 working weeks, something like that. If your shipping time is slow, obviously it's better to have a quicker shipping time, but obviously put this and really be clear with them, and this may fix that problem. And now I want to talk a bit about post-purchase, which is very important. Obviously, you've done well to get this far. You got a purchase from them, that's cool. But don't just throw them away, because you've had to acquire that customer, right? You've paid all that money, you got the customer, they've bought the product, you've made some on the front end, hopefully. But you really want to try and nurture them through to having another sale and trying to give them more value. So you want to set things up like post-purchase automations. There's something you could actually do on the thank you page of your site with Shopify. Using Shopify, there's something called, is this a site? So I can't actually remember what it's called, but you can have apps that install something on the last part of your thank you page, and it would be like, oh, you know, limited offer for you right now. You buy this for 25% off. It complements that product you just bought. What do you think? That's cool. I much prefer to do post-sell, post-purchase sort of emails. So you want to have sequences going out. First one being, I actually won't go into this too much because I think I actually might do this later on. But basically, you want to offer them some sort of value in the first email with some social proof, perhaps, or get them to share on your sort of social media pages. And then you want to look at trying to cross-sell for them, right? You want to set something up unique to them or people who, you know, have bought before, to sell them something that actually complements the product or very similar to the product they've already bought. Then you could also set another sequence up for people who repeat purchase, because this is really good to have for someone who's really bought into your product. You know, it really bought into your brand, and you want to dive deeper into the brand mission with them, because they're obviously very interested in you now. And then you're at the stage where you can have a real good conversation with them and then tell them all the new stuff that's coming out. And you can have a lot of sequences set up to say, look, this is this cool thing we just brought out. You don't really need to sell to them much because they've already bought into you enough that they like you now and you're having a good conversation with them. And yeah, that's it. I think that's everything I wanted to cover. 17 minutes, that's not too bad. Not 20 minutes, not 30 minutes like last time. But yeah, so, you know, hopefully this was clear. Let me know if it wasn't and ask any questions down below. I'm going to put the points in there. So if you want to just have a look at what part of your funnel perhaps mean, you know, not be performing as well as you want, and what sort of tips and stuff you could do to improve. Ask any questions down below, as I said. Cheers.